Hi guys and welcome. So in this video we're going to go through the lacquer stage on this BMW that we've got repaired up. Start off, I'll tell you a bit about the job on this one. It's been done by a different shop, and basically they've done the wing, the front and rear bumper, and they made a bit of a mess of it. The colour match was a mile off, and to say that it had a lot of orange peel was an understatement. So it's had an 800 on the wing to bring the wing down and on the door, and then what we've done is just reblended the wing and the door, painted both the front and back bumper because they were horrendous, all the lacquer was peeling off them, and then we're just doing a little bit of a blow in where he's got a bit of damage on his boot. So for this job I'm going to be using the Quartz liquid glass, which is the HS version of the Quartz clears. Now I've only just started using HS clears again, and I have to say I absolutely love this stuff. As you'll see if you stay till the end of the video, we've got all the pictures at the end, and as you'll see, you just can't fault this stuff. And being kind of new to using HS again, it's really nice to have one that really works and it gives you a really good finish, and the gloss is spot on. So I'm running this on my Iwata W400. With it being a HS, I've had to alter the settings a bit over the MS. I'm going for 3 turns out on the fluid, and rather than 2 bar, I'm cranking it up to 2.2 bar on the fluid. Now, the liquid glass is a 2:1 ratio of lacquer to hardener, and all I've done is warmed it up a tiny little bit because it's a cold day here in the UK at the moment, and then I've just put a drop of about 5% thinner, just a tiny little bit, just to help it flow out. This is my second time using this. I have got a review on this stuff which I'm just finishing editing at the moment. So if you're watching this a while after this has been published, then if you check out the review section, then you'll be able to see a review on the liquid glass, and a lot of other lacquers as well. There'll be plenty in there and plenty of content if you want to see what the different lacquers go down like and see my views on them. And also if you look at the comments, there's quite a good few comments as well off the other viewers on their comments of what they think on the clears that we're reviewing as well, which is always good. That way you're not just getting my input, you're getting everyone else's input that's used these as well. And if you do have any views on any of the products that we are reviewing, maybe you've used them and you do like them or you don't like them, or you've got any hints and tips of your own that you want to add into the comments for the viewers, then feel free, because that's what it's all about. It's just purely helping each other out, getting some content on here and giving everyone an idea of what these are all like and what they're like compared to the other materials and the other paints and the other lacquers, etc. that are around. So as I said, I'm pretty fresh back to HS clears at the moment, just because our booth doesn't have a full bake, so it's a bit hard sometimes with the HS clears. If they're a bit hard to get dry, then it's not that we can't have them sat around for days, but we just don't have the room really to have cars sat around for days on end while they're drying down. And I have to say, the liquid glass, this was with the standard liquid glass, and it did dry down really nice. We were actually having a conversation with someone about this the other day who'd posted on one of the Facebook groups, and he'd asked what people thought of it for drying times. And I have to say, all we did was basically just give this a short bake at about 40 degrees after it was painted, and the next day it was quite nice to buff. And at the moment it's February, it's not exactly the warmest in the UK at the moment, but it did denib and polish perfectly fine. I'd say next time we're probably going to go for the fast, just so we can try it and see what that's compared like to the standard, but we had no problems whatsoever with it, and it is a really nice lacquer to put on. It flows out nice. It's got a really good build with it being HS, and I couldn't really find much fault with it in the first job that I did with it. And using it for a second time, I got even I could find even less of a fault really with it. After using it the first time, I had a bit more of a sort of feel for it. So when I put it on this job came out really nice. If anything, the wing and the door actually came out a touch too nice. Once they'd had a quick denib and they'd been polished up, they were smoother than what was on the car, which, you know, you are trying to aim for the same finish that the car's got, unless you're doing a respray or something. So, you know, we're probably going to start using this for resprays and the higher end jobs that we do, just because it's so nice to use, and the coverage of it is really good for the, you know, for the price, compared to some of the others out there. Coverage wise, you're getting a real good coverage for the amount of milliliters that you're using on a job. Right, so we're going to head into the second coat on this BMW now, and the only change I've made is I've gone an extra half a turn out on the fluid just to get the second coat on nice and wet. And if you look at the finish on that, you know, you just can't fault this stuff. It's a really nice finish. It works well through this gun, and overall, you know, it makes the job so much cleaner and so much nicer. It's actually a really nice lacquer to work with. There's a lot of lacquers out there. I've got some Max Mayer 0300 in, which I've just tried today, which I have to say again is a really nice lacquer. Don't think it has quite the gloss level that this does. Still got a good build, still nice to work with. You know, but I think if you're going for like your high-end motors, or you want something that's really going to make a respray pop, then I would pick the liquid glass over the Max Mayer. Not that I can fault the Max Mayer, you know, it's a really nice lacquer. It goes on nice, sprays well. You know, it's good to work with. It's nice to use. You know, you can't really find much fault with the Max Mayer products. I haven't found. We use a lot of the 0200 and the 0300. You know, there's no faults with it. I just think that this has got a better gloss, and I found I could just get that touch of a better off the gun finish with it, with a bit, what's the best way of putting it? With a bit less you know, with a bit less trouble. You know, I could get a real glass finish with this lacquer without really trying too hard, which is always nice. You know, when a job comes out this clean and looks this good, then, you know, as a painter, you do feel happy that you've got a job that looks that nice and that fresh and that clean at the end of it. So as far as application wise goes, for this job what I did was the first coat I put down, and I put down a full closed coat but not too thick. You want everything to be covered by your lacquer on your first coat, so everything's sealed up. And then your second coat, basically you go in then, you know, with more build, and you go in for your final finish. You know, as good as you, or as close as you can get it to factory, or if you're going for a respray or something, then as good and as close to glass, or whatever the finish is that you desire that you're putting on that car. On this one, I didn't give it much of a flash off time. I only gave it about 5 to 10 minutes, because I found that after that 5 to 10 minutes, even with the sort of the low temperature in our booth, with it not having a heat cycle when we're painting, it was tacked off nice. So I did go, it was between 5 and 10 minutes. Once that masking paper around that front end felt tacky and it was sticking to the glove as I was touching it, and when I was doing the tack test, then I went straight back over. I got no issues with solvent pop or anything like that, and it did come out. It was a really nice, clean job. It's a shame with the way that this job was that we had to end up redoing so much of the car. The wing was a mile off colour wise. The front bumper was orange peely and peeling off everywhere. So to get this job nice and clean back for the customer, you know, it's really nice. You know, you get a sense of achievement out of a job like that, to know that something's come in looking so rough and you've put it back looking like brand new again. And you know, a happy customer, and you know, the guys that you're working for are happy. So it's always nice as a painter, you know, to be able to achieve that. And I did have a guy the other day, YouTube user and follower on my Instagram, Driveway Auto Body, who asked me, you know, how would you get such a nice finish? A lot of it just comes down to practice, and a lot of it comes down to research as well. Research your materials, research your guns, research your settings, but nothing will sacrifice for actually getting out there and doing it. And as far as that glassy finish, it's pushing what you know and your products, I would say, and finding their limits. So if you go too far, you're just going to end up with it all on the floor, and it's going to end up running off your panel. You don't go far enough, and you're going to end up too dry. And it's just finding that balance. And especially with your spray guns, it's finding that sweet spot that works for your style of spraying. All the settings that I post up, you know, that's my sweet spot for my settings. So the best advice I could say is grab a panel, grab some paint, you know, if you're a novice guy, and have a play. You know, the only way you're going to do it is by picking up the gun and trying it. And if you get a run, it's not a failure, it's a learning curve. You know, if it goes on too dry, you've not failed. You just know next time that that was my mistake. I didn't put enough fluid on, or I was too far away, etc. And just work through it and play with your settings and find what works for you. That's the best way you can do it. Obviously, don't practice on customers' cars. You know, if you get a panel or something, you know, you can get a cheap bonnet or a cheap wing from your local part supplier. You know, even if you just get a brand new one, stick it on a stand and have a play. That's my advice. Right guys, so we're coming to the end of this video now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And if you ever feel like sharing any of the videos or anything off the YouTube channel, feel free, just copy the link or share the video. We're growing quite well now, which is nice to see. So I'm going to leave it there with you guys, and I shall see you again for the next video soon.